Hey y'all, it is May the 7th, 2023, and I'm reporting from the hospital. Check out my gown, right? The night is winding down for me, all right, and that's especially why I don't want to talk so loud because people are winding it down here in the hospital. Hopefully, getting to relax some and get some rest in. So there's a report that I want to do that I've been wanting to do for a few days now, and it's regarding what you're seeing below about Andrew Tate. And I want to mention real quick that it's going to be important and crucial to know that it's not about who you like necessarily. It's not about necessarily who you totally agree with. And I'm referring to Andrew Tate because I know he's very controversial. What's most important is that the powers that be, if you will, or those certain publications who you've come to know, to distrust because they're full of fakery and sneakery. What's important to know is all these publications will come after certain people, and I'm talking real hard, with hit piece after hit piece after hit piece continually. And if they're doing that with all these hit pieces, then you should know for sure that that person, whoever it is onto something, and they're onto something real good. They're probably a real good person, or else these publications wouldn't bother to do all their hit pieces. And real briefly, I want to mention Andrew Tate. I want to do a report on him, but I'm going to have to do it after my surgery if I get to be around after my surgery. I'm gonna have to do the report then. If I do it by then, it's gonna be kind of old news. But I do want to mention that Andrew Tate totally and absolutely has already and will continue to destroy the reputation. They don't even have a reputation anymore of Vice News. Vice News, you already know, is up to no good, and they've been up to no good a long, long time. Andrew Tate has destroyed them and has destroyed, for example, a reporter who you never heard of named Matt Shea. And he successfully recently got Matt Shea to, to totally 100% embarrass himself. And there's a nice video about it on Andrew Tate Confidential on Rumble, or you could probably find it in different places on YouTube. But I wanted to make people aware that I was going to do a report totally and completely embarrasses Matt Shea, who deserves it, who you'll never hear of ever again, and gets him to do absolutely homosexual things and embarrass himself, to include Matt Shea is a grown man. Andrew Tate, who's another grown man, made Matt Shea, made him get on a plane and bring him a box of chocolates. All right, the video is very entertaining if you can find it on the internet, like such as Rumble, Tate Confidential. It's very entertaining to see Andrew Tate make a grown man embarrass himself, hop on a plane to give Andrew Tate a box of chocolates. It was unbelievable, but Andrew Tate is unbelievable. All right. I wanted to mention that, but also what's more important, what's really the crux of this video, and I wanted to bring to y'all's attention, and it's crucial. and I saw it the other day in its entirety, is this video right here. If you go to Rumble, Fresh and Fit. Same thing. You might not like Fresh and Fit. You might not know Fresh and Fit. But understand they got hit pieces after hit pieces after hit pieces, and it's not going to stop. Hatchet job after hatchet job coming for Fresh and Fit. Please believe it. They're this close to being removed from YouTube entirely, even though they've taken over YouTube a little while ago, right? And Fresh and Fit, if you never heard of them, they started out talking about dating, talking about the nature of the dynamics between men and women. That's how I first got to know them. But the thing is, you got Myron Gaines right here, and then you got Fresh Prince CEO over here on the right. This duo is very dynamic and actually very diverse in their skills. Now, as you can see right here, the video is titled "The Truth Behind 9/11," right? And you can actually find part of the video on YouTube. However, we all know that you can only say so much truth on YouTube before you're banished from YouTube. So for the entirety of the video, you'd actually have to go to Rumble, and it's not hard to go to Rumble. You find Fresh and Fit, and then you'll be able to find this video. Now, real quick, because we're winding it down for the night, I want to say obviously, and for the young kids out there, it's hard to grasp because you might have been born after 9/11. But for the people who remember it and who have any damn sense, knows full well of the anomalies that were never answered, they were never explained about 9/11. Never ever explained. I'm talking about damn impossibilities that took place on 9/11. So if you were to believe the actual narrative, might I suggest you're quite naive. And it's unfortunate. Probably why you're so naive is because the truth would terrify the majority of people even more so than the so-called narrative of 9/11. All right? Most people can't handle it. Their brains would explode. But if you believe the actual narrative, the so-called narrative that they told everybody, you have a childish mind. And there's no way that you really can think for yourself on this level. Now, there's some people who realized long ago that, hell yeah, we're being lied to about 9/11. Oh, these jihadis, oh, they found their IDs laying cleanly on top of mountains of burning ash and rubble. And oh, it's so convenient, it's these jihadis. And oh, we gotta attack I forget, Iraq or some stuff. Go after Afghanistan. Okay, that was hey, is this a reason to get us into war? And oh, how it worked. Oh, how it worked. And none of it ever made sense. So I bring it up to say that, okay, none of it ever made sense and it was never ever convincing. This big tragedy in which thousands upon thousands of people suffered their demise, and then thousands and thousands and thousands of people obviously suffered from health effects who are around that area, and in fact PTSD. And how could you blame them? That's some serious stuff. To see the planes fly into the building like that, and some people think it was CGI. No, there was people actually in New York City looking out their windows, seeing a plane fly into a building. So believe it or not, no, it was not CGI. Believe it or not, all these people did lose their lives. Believe it or not, all the anomalies, to include Building 7, were never explained. Okay, that being said, in this video, 20 some odd years later, you have a reporter who came on as a guest with Fresh and Fit, and they break it down. I don't, for about 2.5 hours. We got this guy right here. His name's Ryan Dawson, and he's gonna break it down. And actually, they're gonna have a follow up because they haven't gotten out all the details. They talked for actually almost 3 hours about what actually went down that day. For example, I'll mention the dancing Israelis. Do you know who the dancing Israelis are? A lot of people don't. All right, they break it down detail by detail, and it's actually quite believable. It's actually quite well researched. If you ask Ryan Dawson a question, if you ask a question about the anomalies of 9/11, everybody in the news will shrug their shoulders and say, I don't know. I can't talk about that. But if you ask Ryan Dawson any sort of question about 9/11, he is so well researched that he's got an answer for you. A well-researched answer for every question that you might have. And so I was listening to it, and yeah, it seems I gotta say, without knowing for sure, like, because I'm not omnipresent, I gotta say Ryan Dawson seems to know exactly what happened, or certain parties involved who will never ever be mentioned on the television, who will never ever be talked about in the dinosaur media. And he's got an answer for every question that you have. And this particular video blew my freaking mind. And they're going to have a follow-up video pretty dang soon covering other details about 9/11 in case you're curious. And I'm convinced, Ryan Dawson has me convinced that he's put in the work. He actually has gotten down to the bottom of things. And if you even dare, you know where to find it. It will blow your freaking mind too. But it's about time that we know the truth. Shouldn't we know the truth? Shouldn't America know the truth? Shouldn't the world know the truth about this big, huge tragedy that we're supposed to absorb and never ask questions about? Which later on led to wars that never made sense, in which even more people died, way more people died. Shouldn't we know the answers? I believe all the answers are basically in this video. I'm going to be in a follow-up video if you dare to want to know. I'll holler. I got to turn in. I got a big old surgery tomorrow. They're going to crack open my chest, and let's see if I can survive it, all right? It is May the 7th, 2020, 2023, and perhaps I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.